Without further ado, I'm going to start our recording. All right. So good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of World History here online. All right. Like I said before, I'm happy to see everyone is awake, alive, and ready to go on this beautiful Monday. It's supposed to be 70 degrees out today. I doubt it after I looked outside this morning, but we will see what happens. All right. So we got a couple things that we need to talk about. And if you took a look at the agenda for today, we had a few different pieces of class that we're going to try to accomplish. All right. And the first thing that I have on the agenda is get everyone connected and make sure we're good to go. We've kind of done that, made sure that the waiting room is taken care of and everyone is joined up. Now, the second thing I had is that we're going to talk about some housekeeping / homework / scheduling things that we've seen kind of arise over the last week. All right. And one of the first things that I want to reassure you guys and tell you guys about is the fact that on Friday of last week, Governor Pete Ricketts actually announced that everyone in the state of Nebraska is underneath a directed health measure, which means that for the rest of the year, all schools in Nebraska have to stay closed until May 31st. So that means that the rest of our school year is going to be e-learning. All right. For some of us, that seems really easy, right? Just kind of kick back, relax, do the different stuff. All right. And some of us still need to find a pattern to make sure we're turning in our stuff. So I want to tell you guys this so that you know what to expect. All right. My e-learning is pretty simple. A lot of you guys understand it. A lot of you guys have been covering it. But we have our live classes. If you miss live class, you can watch it on YouTube. All the assignments are posted on Google Classroom. It's nice. It's sweet. It's simple. It's down to earth. And it's ready to go for you. All right. So make sure you understand that. If there is any part of my e-learning that you do not understand, please shoot me an email and let me help to explain that to you. Because I want to make sure everyone is successful and understands what's expected, because we're going to be riding this out all the way to the end of May, to the end of the school year. I know it's kind of crazy. It's kind of weird because this has really never happened before in our lifetimes, but we're just going to make sure to get through it and work hard.
When does the school year end?
Good question, Celeste. So right now, I think we're slotted to end on, let me double check my calendar here, but I'm pretty sure we end on that Friday in May. I'm pretty sure we end on the 22nd. That's what it was established at, all right, before we left for this COVID thing. And so far, they're saying that's still going to be the end of school.
Oh, let's go. All right.
Yeah, so we're kind of on the home stretch. What's crazy now, guys, is when we left off, we were back in March, and now we're in April. So pretty easy, pretty simple. We're just going to ride this out for about another month, make sure we're good to go, and understand what's going on. All right?
Hey, boys.
What's up?
Weren't you the one who gave us the option to take the test after spring break? Aren't you glad we didn't?
Yes, I'm very glad that we didn't, because now you guys, a lot of you guys, some of you guys that missed the test still have to do some stuff, but a lot of you guys don't have to take like the essay version of the test, which is what you would have to do if we had waited over spring break. So I'm thankful you guys voted to do the right thing and take it early. So you guys all demonstrated that knowledge. It was an awesome job. All right, so some other housekeeping things to remind you of, all right? I have sent numerous emails to you guys if you have missed any assignments from my class, all right? I want to make sure you guys understand and keep up with what's going on. Now, I've also received some emails from you guys that are saying, that are really kind of trying to still navigate and establish a routine and work with this whole e-learning thing, all right? Here's what I want to tell you guys. I do not want my class to be a source of stress for you during this time, all right? That means that, is there a healthy amount of stress where you have to get your assignments done? Yes, but should this class take priority and make you stay up all night long working all these different things? The answer to that is really officially no. Does that still mean that you need to turn all your assignments in? Yes. But I also realize that during this time period, guys, we have to be lax with a lot of the things that we talk about and things that we do. I see someone's trying to join up, so I'm going to make sure that I add them in. All right. So I realize that we have to be kind of lax. We have to understand the things that we do right now are coming from home. You guys have a lot of other responsibilities, and sometimes being at home isn't the best place to learn. I completely understand that. All right. If you are feeling in any way that like, hey, I'm having trouble learning at home, I don't know what's going on, please either reach out to me, reach out to your counselor or your administrator, all right? Because I am there for you. I'm going to be there to walk you through any assignments that you might need help with, all right? If you need an extension on an assignment because you're like, hey, I just work 40 hours a week and I can't get this assignment done because I am trying to work my job during this time because I'm an essential employee or whatever you end up being a part of, all right? I want to extend that grace to you, but you have to talk to me about it, all right? If you don't talk to me, then I really don't know what's going on. So shoot me an email, stay in contact. I realize that we're going to have to be fluid. We're going to have to let some things be a little lax and relaxed, but make sure to stay on top of it. It still means that we have the responsibilities to get our assignments done. I'm still going to send those emails. You're still going to have your parents contacted and your administrator contacted if you don't let me know so I can extend that grace to you. All right, guys? So make sure to stay on top of that, communicate with me, all right, and reach out if you need any help because we're in this for the long haul all the way till the end of May. All right, now that we got all that kind of sappy stuff out of the way, I also want to reiterate to you guys, I'm always a resource. Open office hours. You can always email me. You can set up a personal Zoom call so that we can figure things out together and I can walk you through assignments. So make sure you're staying on top of that and you're getting that done as well. All right. We got a few people that are joining up. All right. So that being said, here's what we're going to do. If you have not looked at the schedule, all right, based on what our normal schedule was for school, tomorrow was supposed to be the ACT day, where you guys took the pre-ACT and the juniors and the seniors, they took the ACT, all right? That has all been canceled because of COVID-19. But that day is still in our schedule. So what's going to happen tomorrow is that we're not going to have any live class because it's basically like you guys kind of don't have any scheduled classes. Now, notice I didn't say that means that you don't have school. That's because you probably got an email from Mr. Gilbertson and a bunch of other people. The idea for tomorrow is an opportunity for you guys to go through and talk to all of your teachers and make up any missing assignments and the assignments that are going to be due this week and get all that stuff done and organized and planned out and ready to go. All right, so that is the goal for tomorrow. Tomorrow, I'm going to be sending tons of emails to kids that are missing assignments. All right, you have to be sending your late work into me, all right, and communicating with your teachers to make sure everything is good. They're basically giving you a free day to get all that stuff done. All right, so make sure if you're caught up, you kind of have a free day. If you're not caught up, you have to really put your nose to the grindstone and start getting to work tomorrow. All right, so let me know if you need any help. I'm going to be around. I'm going to have I'm going to consistently be available through email, but we can set up a Zoom call or whatever we want to do to talk things out if you need help on any assignments. All right, so make sure you have that done. Now, looking ahead in the schedule, you also have to realize that Friday of this week and Monday of next week are actually Easter break. So we will not have school on Friday of this week, and we will not have school on Monday of next week because we have that 4-day weekend for Easter. So that means we're not going to have any live classes, open office hours. We're not going to have any of those, all right? Should you still work on your homework if you have homework? Yes, just like any other break in school. But
repeat the days you said we're not having school?
So we don't have school on Friday at the end of this week. So if we look at the calendar, I'll give you the date here, okay? We do not have school on
The 10th.
Friday the 10th or on Monday the 13th, okay? We do not have school on those days because it's Easter break because this Sunday is Easter Sunday, all right? So you won't have any live classes. You won't have any open office hours. You won't have any of that stuff. Make sure you still get your assignments done. Remember, everything is still due on Saturday at midnight, but, all right, you have this whole week to kind of coast through that. So we realistically only have today's live class, and then we don't have live class tomorrow because it was the ACT day. It's your work day tomorrow. And then on Wednesday, we have a live class. And then Thursday, we have whatever classes you have. You don't have my class on Thursday. And then Friday, we're out of school. Okay? Does anyone have any questions about that? I know that's a lot of dates that I'm throwing at you, but I want to make sure you guys are able to stay on top of this and understand what's going on. Any questions, guys? Awesome. So I know I talked your ear off, but I want to make sure everyone is prepped and ready to go and understand what the plan is moving forward. All right? So today, to kind of set that up and talk about what we're going to talk about, all right, we are going to really start to get a taste of the beginning of World War II. So if you remember, and we're just going to have a brief little time period here where we're going to talk a few things out and review before I cut you loose on the assignment that I have for you guys today. You're watching another one of those World War II, well, another one of those oversimplified videos. This one's about World War II. It's pretty funny. I've got like a guided note-taking thing so you can write down the information really quick as you watch it, so that you have that instead of having to watch a PowerPoint and take notes. You're going to have all that background stuff, and it's actually pretty funny. It's only about 13 minutes long or something like that. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that. But before we begin, I want us to remember where we have come from and what we've been talking about. All right? So the first thing I want you to do is I'm going to look to make sure we got all our people here. Awesome. All right? I want everyone to pull out something to write on, whatever you've been using to take notes, all right? Just a quick review because you're going to be looking at these to remind yourself of what we've talked about. So once you have your notes or whatever you have used to take notes so far during e-learning, once you have that pulled out, I want you to go over, click on the participants tab, and click the green check mark that says yes, telling me you're ready to go, and we can start talking about what we're going to talk about today. And then we're going to jump in and get ready to go. I see we got people listening already. I love it. Make sure you got your stuff.
Wait, how do we do that again?
Dulce, all you have to do is you click on the participants thing down at the bottom, and then it opens up a little like menu on the side where everyone is, and then you click yes. Awesome. Good, good, good. It looks like a lot of us are getting ready to go. Make sure you got something to write with, or you're looking at whatever we have written on so that you have your notes and you understand where we're going and what we're talking about. So, looks like most of us are ready to go. Alexa, make sure you get your stuff out. Angel, make sure you're responding. Evan, Eduardo, be ready to go here, guys. All right. So, here's what we're going to do. We're going to talk real quick about what we've talked about. I'm going to write a few things on the board. Make sure it's big enough so that you guys can see. And then we're going to talk about what our assignment looks like and how we're going to prep and understand World War II. So if you remember, guys, in this class, what we've talked about so far, we have really focused on the interwar years, all right? And the names and time periods that we give these are interesting. I'm going to grab my nice new marker here, all right? And remember that we have talked about so far the interwar years. So I'm going to write that here just to help us remember, all right? We've talked about the interwar, and that's how you spell that, years. We took some notes on it. We did a little reading on it, all right? This was the interwar years, all right? And as part of the interwar years, we talked about two kind of decades. So those are 10-year chunks, all right? We talked about the 1920s, and we talked about the 1930s. We talked about how the 20s was a time of like incredible prosperity for the Allies that won World War II, how it was a struggle for Germany and a few of the other countries like China. And then we talked about how the 1930s brought about the Great Depression, the world economic crisis, where everyone was freaking out and wondering what the heck was going on. Let's make sure to add Wachoni here so we're ready to go. All right? And so we talked about how the 1920s and the 1930s set the world up for all of this crazy change and all of these huge differences that we see in the way that life was lived and kind of taken on. All right? Now, where we left off is we talked about the rise of dictators. And this really starts to happen, all right, in the 1920s and in the 1930s. We see what we call the rise of dictators, okay? And that was what we talked about on Wednesday of last week. That's where we left off. The rise of dictators. And hopefully you guys can kind of see that and understand what we're saying here, okay? So the interwar years was the 1920s and the 1930s. We had the rise of dictators. And the dictators that we personally talked about is we talked about Mussolini in Italy. We talked about Hitler, all right, in Germany. We talked about Joseph Stalin in Russia. And we talked about Emperor Hirohito in Japan, all right? So we had these four really big dictators that rise to power during the interwar years, all right? And we talked about some of the details. Now, a lot of these guys, they're huge leaders, they're dictators that control everything. And they rise to power by basically promising that they can fix all of the problems in the countries that they rule. Mussolini does it, Hitler does it, Stalin does it, even Emperor Hirohito does it in Japan. They focus on nationalism. They think that they're racially superior, that they're smarter, they're just better because of who they are and the race that they are. And they work really hard to hate the Allies, the winners of World War I. And so we see that during this time period, we have all the details that we talked about what life looked like and the big problems. But while we have the 1920s and 1930s, we see the rise of dictators. All right? And the rise of dictators is what leads us to World War II. When you start adding up all of these dictators, Mussolini, Hitler, Stalin, and Emperor Hirohito, they all end up becoming friends because they're united under this like dictator rule and this idea that they're better. And they become the Axis powers in World War II. And we're going to kind of see how that rises, how all of these changes lead to this horrible conflict that people just really weren't ready for. All right? So we've got the interwar years. We talked the 1920s, the 1930s, and the rise of dictators. And this leads us directly into the aggression of these dictators that bring us to World War II. All right? So we've got interwar years, 1920s, rise of dictators, and then all of this, and I'm going to write an arrow so that you can see and understand. All of this, it leads, okay, to World War II. Okay, so we have people like Stalin and Hitler and Hirohito and Mussolini. They bring their countries and they say, hey, we're stronger than everyone else. We're better than everyone else. We need to take over these areas. All right? And so this leads us into World War II. And the Allies were not prepped and ready for this. And it's a slow build. It's a slow burn over the 1920s and 30s. Really, the Allies weren't ready for war, so they never kind of fought back against these dictators that were preaching these ideas. Now, we can go into huge amounts of detail on the rise of dictators, like how Hitler comes to power and all this stuff. But the awesome thing is the video that we're watching for assignment today kind of covers the basics and gives you a good idea. And you're taking notes on it as you go, because I've got those guided notes in the assignment. So really, you're set up and ready to go when it comes to understanding the rise of dictators. And then it's going to bring us into the beginning of World War II, and we're going to talk about the very beginning of World War II, Blitzkrieg, and all of these crazy things on Wednesday when we come back together for our live online class. All right? So all of this stuff is really cool. It's exciting. It's fun to talk about. And it's interesting that we see this transformation from World War I to the interwar years, and all of a sudden, after 20 years, it's like, oh, we are right back in the thick of it, watching a world war take over the world. So we have all of these things that have outlined kind of our review for what we understand. Now, let me walk you through what our assignment kind of looks like for today so that we can get prepped and ready. Now, remember, guys, as I said before, I do not want you to think that there is no flexibility in my class, all right? If you need some flexibility, if you've got stuff going on, shoot me an email, talk to me, contact me, let me know what's going on, okay? And I'm happy to, like I said, extend that grace. But make sure you're staying on top of it, and I know what's going on so that I know how to reach out to you and we know how to work with you on this, okay? I realize it's a crazy time, but we're going to kind of stick together and make sure we're taking care of each other and we got all this stuff ready to go. That being said, let's take a look at what we're talking about when we say the assignment that I have posted on Classroom. So, if you take a look, I'm sharing my screen with you guys here real quick so that you can see, all right? If you look on Google Classroom, all right, this is actually my drive. Let's go to Classroom. Let's go to 6A here. All of them look the same, all right? Here's our agenda for today, the link that I sent out, all right? If you missed today's live class, the YouTube video is going to be posted on here as well around lunchtime whenever this video renders and stuff, all right? But if you come down here, here's the new assignment that I have for you guys. World War I Oversimplified. All you have to do is you click on that. Mine looks a little bit different. There you go. You click on yours, it'll look like this. All you have to do is you click on this video. This is the YouTube video that you're going to watch. And you're going to open up the assignment. Everyone should have a copy. It should be nice and easy. Okay, to access, you put your name on the top, and then as you watch, it goes pretty quick. It's pretty easy. All you go through is you just say, all right, it says, Benito Mussolini was born in Italy and went back and forth between Italy and Switzerland. Boom, all you have to do is go here and you type Italy, okay? And all you do is go through and you take quick little notes on each of these little things that I have blanks for, so that you can explain it, you can understand it, and you have a good amount of background knowledge when we talk about the meat and potatoes, the bread and butter of the beginning of World War II when we come back together on Wednesday. All right? So this is the assignment that you're going to do today to tackle the things that we kind of reviewed and talked about and set us up for talking about World War II. Now, let me give you a fair warning here. When you click on this YouTube link, I'm going to click on it just to show you. Okay, I've got the link in the instructions, and I've got the link in on the assignment, so you can take a look at it. But if you take a look here, the first minute or whatever is an advertisement for Skillshare. You can skip right past that first minute or minute and a half, whatever it ends up being, and then get started, okay? So it looks like at 1:14, that's when you actually get into the actual video, all right? So you watch that. Now, I'm going to warn you that he talks really fast because he's trying to oversimplify it and explain it to you quickly. I mean, he talks about the entirety of the beginning of the war in 13 minutes. But the great thing about this YouTube video is you can pause it, you can click the arrows to go a couple seconds back, listen to the information again, do a quick type. Guys, all in all, this assignment really shouldn't take more than 15 minutes. But it's going to set you up for understanding World War II. And I want to make sure everyone's on the same level to understand the beginning of World War II so that we can jump in and talk about details. All right? So, to review, you go to Classroom. Here's our assignment for today, World War II Oversimplified. You click on the note. Okay? It says the note assignment. You click on that. You watch the YouTube video, and as you watch, you flip back and forth between here and the YouTube video. You watch a little, you go back, you fill it out, and that way you have notes on the beginning of World War II. Now, does anyone have any questions before we talk about what we're going to do at the end of class here? Does anyone have any questions? Awesome. Not hearing anything, which is good. All right, I think we're a little slow on a Monday. Like I said, we only have 34 people here today. But that's all right. It's a Monday. I get it. So here's what we're going to do. I want to make sure everyone is prepped and ready to go. So a quick overall idea of what class and your responsibility looks like moving forward. Remember that today we have live class. You're here. That's awesome. You want to finish up this assignment for World War II Oversimplified. Tomorrow is your work day, all right? You don't have live class. If you look at the Google Calendar, I removed the live class from there because we do not have live class tomorrow. It's your work day, but make sure that you're working. Get your assignments in. Anything that's late, anything that's due, turn it into me so that I know that you're participating and you're demonstrating to me that you're learning and you're really putting in the effort. Guys, that's what I care about. I care about you. I care about your stuff getting done, okay? And the only reason I care about your stuff getting done is because I want you to demonstrate that you're putting in the effort and you're learning, all right? I'm not going to be super nitpicky on it. Like I said, we can have that flexibility and that grace, but make sure you're staying on top of it and you're demonstrating some effort for me, all right? Apart from that, after that work day on Wednesday, okay, we have our next live class. We're going to talk about the beginning of World War II. And then on Friday, there's no school. And on the Monday after the weekend, there's no school, okay, because you have Easter break. So make sure to stay on top of your stuff. Let me know if you have any questions, all right? And if you are good to go and you're hearing me right now, I want you to go over to the side and click that little raise hand thing real quick so I can double check to make sure we're all good to go and understanding what I'm saying here. Heck yeah. Love that response. Looks like everybody is getting it. Make sure to click that raise hand. Awesome. I love it. Love to see you guys listening and participating. That's great. All right. So if you have any questions for me, you can stick around in the Zoom call. But today it was pretty sweet, pretty short, pretty simple. Talked about the review for the beginning of World War II. And make sure to get your assignment done. Other than that, you're good to go for today, guys. Enjoy your work day tomorrow. I'm going to be sending out those emails, so stay on top of your stuff, and I'll see you on Wednesday. All right? Awesome.